Hey guys, Mystery Wheel Gunner here back with you. And as you can probably tell from the intro, it's another Performance Center model from Smith & Wesson. And I gotta say, Smith & Wesson hits another home run with this one with an absolutely gorgeous looking revolver. I really love where Smith & Wesson went for the inspiration for this one. It is a 629 with a long 8 3/8 inch barrel, and they took very strong design cues from the old Model 29 that had an 8 3/8 inch barrel. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the modern features that this particular model has, and let's start with the front sight. I really like this style of front sight. It's not a light pipe. The entire front blade is translucent. I think that's how it should be done, to be honest. This thing catches a lot of light, and it is sturdy. This is not just some flimsy piece of toy plastic. No, this is it's gonna last a while. This gun has about 200 rounds through it. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but we're talking 200, good, honest 44 Magnum rounds, and that front sight has no signs of shearing off or anything like that. Now the cool thing is, for those of you who are more traditionalists, Smith & Wesson has you covered because this has the easy quick change system that's found on the current production 629 Classic, and this also comes with the a more traditional, you would say, front blade. It's an all metal, all black front blade, and it is very easily swapped in place of the orange glow front blade. So you've got kind of the best of both worlds here. You can try out the orange glow front blade, and I suggest you do. That's how it comes anyway. I think you'll really like this. But again, in case you don't, just pop in the more traditional black metal blade, or buy whatever blade is out there that is compatible with the 629 Classic's quick change system. Okay, moving on to the barrel, we have an 8 3/8 inch barrel that is fluted. Pretty unique. You don't see too many revolvers with this kind of fluting on them. Oddly enough, the cylinder is unfluted. Now this is kind of odd because I've heard a representative from Smith & Wesson state that the barrel fluting was done to save weight, and yet they don't flute the cylinder to save even more weight. That's kind of weird. So I am more inclined to think that the fluted barrel and unfluted cylinder combination was more of a stylistic choice. And you know what? That's not necessarily bad, because I think it's a really good look for this revolver. So thumbs up on Smith & Wesson for that. The rear sight is fully adjustable for windage and elevation. And because this is a Performance Center model, you get the Performance Center tune trigger right from the factory, which is cool because it's basically like having a factory warranted trigger job. And I gotta say, they did an absolutely amazing job on this. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a trigger pull gauge, but I gotta tell you, the double action pull on this thing is insane. I do not have any light primer strikes on this thing, and I say that because I've had people who fire this thing, and that's one of the first things they ask. They ask, do you have any problems with light primer strikes or inconsistent ignition? Because this thing seems unbelievably light, and I tell them, no, this thing is 100% reliable. I've shot Winchester, factory Winchester white box, factory American Eagle from Federal, and I've shot my own hand loads. I use a Winchester large primer for my reloads, and nope, no problems. This thing is reliable and insanely light. And of course, the single action mode is, just saying, if double action is that light, whoa boy. Single action, I'm not going to call it a hair trigger because a hair trigger has a connotation of being unstable. This is not an unstable trigger. You put it into single action mode, it's not going to go off just because you bang on the gun or anything. No, you still got to press that trigger. Okay, you cock this gun, you better be ready to fire it, because it's in business mode, so you better be in business mode as well. Okay, let's get to the one thing I don't like about this gun. Yeah, that's right. Something I don't like on a Performance Center model. These come with some truly horrid grips. I'm sorry. Now, they look good and they feel good when you're holding it or when shooting 44 Special. But you move up to the Magnums and wow, these grips just hurt. Okay, let's take a look at the stock grip versus the grips I put on there. I'll get into these replacement grips in a little bit here. But you can see, yeah, the stock grips start off nice and fat, but they taper too much. There's just too little material as you get near the top. I found that when shooting the 44 Magnums, I had to hold this gun a lot lower on the grip that I'm used to just so I can have more surface area on my palm. And when you do that, you get more of that muzzle flip. You get more of that whip. The lower you hold the gun, the higher the bore axis. And that whip effect is really pronounced. But it was one of those choices, either get more whip or get more pain. And that was just not a very good compromise for me, so I went ahead and improved the situation with some Culina grips. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. It's Culina. I'll put a link in the description below. I don't work for the guy or anything like that, so I'm not trying to sell you his grips, but from one revolver enthusiast to another, of course, I'm going to pass on information about things that I think are awesome. And these Culina grips are just that. They're awesome. They're nice and fat, lots of surface area, lots of material to spread out that recoil. And he reproduces the famous Coke bottle design. See that? How it swells in the middle like a Coke bottle. And I think that's a good design because if you look at the palm of your hand, you'll see there's a natural recess, like a little valley there, okay, in the palm of your hand. And that's where that palm swell goes. Your hand and the grip, they pretty much locate themselves. You just know. It just feels right. So anyway, it is the only thing I don't like about this gun. It's the grip choice, or the design of the stock grips. I don't mean to disparage them too much because they do look good. They really do. So if this is just a showpiece for you, yeah, keep the stock grips. But if this is going to be a shooter, yeah, you may want to look into a pair of Culina grips. Overall, a very impressive and I gotta say, a very pretty revolver by Smith & Wesson. It's a great addition to the Performance Center line, and it carries on the Model 29 and 629 heritage in grand fashion. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next time. Whoops, looks like I goofed up. There is an additional feature which I have neglected to talk about, and that's the fact that this revolver is drilled and tapped for rails, and those rails are included. You get a top rail for an optic and a bottom rail for an accessory like a laser or a flashlight. And I really like the way Smith & Wesson did it, because by having rails that are optional, you can run the gun nice and clean, which I prefer. It gives it a really nice, sleek, classic look. Or if you want, you can tap into your Call of Duty / Resident Evil mojo. Okay, go into Mall Ninja mode and rail it up. The choice is yours. Alright, catch you guys next time.